Hi! Welcome to this part of my solo campaign featuring From the Ashes. If you haven't seen the other parts of my solo campaign, please check out the playlist in the description below. I also recommend that you check out the description of this video to obtain more information about the tools that I am using for this emulated player characters sort of experience. Before we continue, I would like to talk about this channel's sponsor, Heroes and Hardships. This is a universal RPG system, allowing you to play any sort of genre, campaign, scenario, story. You can also create any sort of character imaginable. You have hundreds of tools to assist you with that. I am going to put a few links in the description that will take you to the website, to the Kickstarter that should begin in about a month or so. You will also find a link taking you to the Tetsubo section of the website. Tetsubo is an upcoming setting for Heroes and Hardships. It is inspired by Japan's Sengoku era. You will also find links to my reviews of the Quickstart guide and the Wallace campaign setting, based on the life and exploits of William Wallace. So please check it out. Now let's continue. Corvus descends into the shaft safely, using his rope. With lantern and sword in hand, he goes down a few steps into what appears to be a mausoleum. There are strange hieroglyphs on the walls that he cannot interpret, and 3 passageways leading to other sections. One goes north, the other goes east, and the other goes west. I made a roll to determine Corvus's decision, and he decides to go west. He enters a room filled with bones that rise up to about 3 feet off the ground. They show signs of gnawing by human-like teeth. He finds nothing of value and heads north this time, eventually reaching a fork on the road. This was also determined by the roll of a die. Now I made a roll using the Game Master's Apprentice deck, and I obtained Pardon, Benevolent, Agreement. Corvus heads east with the intention of being merciful towards anything or anyone with whom he reaches an agreement. He enters a small chamber containing various opened tombs and coffins. He finds a few pieces of jewelry scattered on the floor, which should be worth a few souls. Corvus's attitude goes up. He thinks the area is relatively safe and helpful. On the east wall of this room, there is a mosaic showing a fly buzzing across a field, followed by a bird eating the fly, and then the image of a cat eating the bird. Corvus decides to head west after this, also determined by the roll of a die. As he is moving halfway through the corridor, he notices a door on the north wall, but before he gets the chance to examine it, he listens to strange sounds, strange grunting and breathing, which comes from all directions. Seemingly out of nowhere, 5 ghoulish cadavers appear, 3 on the west side, 2 in the east. They definitely do not want to parley as they charge at Corvus, drooling and clawing at him. This is a pincer ambush sort of situation. Initiative is rolled. Corvus wins initiative, and he is hardly surprised by this macabre assault, because he is successful in his fear saving throw. I made a roll using the Flex AI Guidebook, using the leader/solo/cornered template, and I obtained ability under the outmatched category. Corvus drops his sword, pulls out his wand, and shoots a fireball at the ghouls on the west side. They were not expecting this. They got caught completely in the blast as they charged at Corvus, and ended up completely incinerated. The ghouls on the east side charged at Corvus, but were still too far away from him. I think this situation is quite scary. Imagine yourself in these dark tunnels with your only source of light being your lantern. So there are moments where the light seems to blink in and out, like the light is on, the light is off, as Corvus is moving about and the lantern is flashing all over the place. I made another roll to see how Corvus would handle this situation, since he now defeated 3 of the ghouls. This time I used the leader solo fresh template, and I obtained main attack, major search, under the threat category. Corvus now drops his wand and picks up his sword, but he cannot do anything else at the moment. The ghouls catch up to him and claw at him with psychotic glee. One of them managed to hit his helmet but didn't draw blood, because Corvus was successful in his paralysis saving throw. Corvus immediately counter-thrusts, that is in the next combat round, decapitating a ghoul. The remaining undead crouches and swipes at Corvus's legs, but he misses. Corvus drops his lantern as he jumps back, that is, Corvus scored a critical fail, so I made it so that the lamp is now on the floor and I made a roll. There is a 50% chance of the lantern shattering, and so it did. So now Corvus is almost in complete darkness because there are only a few embers on the ground, that is what remains of the lantern. The rotting fiend takes advantage of this and flings itself at Corvus, almost knocking him to the ground with the force of its tackle. Corvus made a successful saving throw, so he is still not paralyzed because of the ghoul's attack. Corvus takes hold of the ghoul with one hand, as he knows it will be extremely difficult to attack it in the dying light of the embers on the floor, and he drives his sword up the ribcage of the creature, killing it for good. After lighting one of his arrows as an improvised candle, Corvus goes back outside and secures a few dry branches to use as torches. He goes back into the crypt, now with the lighted torch in hand, and continues towards the west section. And when he finally reaches the west room, he finds it contains 5 opened tombs, probably or most likely the former resting place of the creatures. There are a few pieces of jewelry. I made a roll to see if Corvus would pick them up, since I figured out that he is a bit mistrustful of the belongings of the ghouls, and I obtained Corrupt Graceful Lookout, which I interpreted as Corvus picking up the jewels because of their graceful appearance. He will be on the lookout for more valuables in this corrupt place. Corvus heads back to the door that he found in the northern section. Upon closer examination, he notices it is a solid stone door, with a mosaic containing images of a cat, a bird, and a fly. They can be shifted around or moved about, so that one image is inside another image, and those images are inside the other image. This clearly reminds him of the imagery that he saw in the other room, so the solution for this puzzle is quite clear, and we will discover how he solves this puzzle in the next part of this solo session report. And this concludes this part of the campaign. I had a lot of fun with Corvus's desperate struggle in the middle of the corridor. It wasn't so bad because of the results that he obtained using the wand of fireballs, although there is only one charge remaining for his wand. But it was still pretty exciting to imagine Corvus fighting in that situation with low light, with the lantern flashing around, and because of the critical failure when the lantern broke, the situation could have been quite worse, but he still handled things quite well. I'm also curious if he will discover some more valuable things here, because he has been missing some things based on the decisions determined by the oracles that I am using, so we shall see how Corvus proceeds in what remains of this particular section of the campaign. Thank you for watching this part of the solo session report, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, you can send an Amazon gift card or a drive-thru RPG gift certificate. The information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.